Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay, welcome to Omaha. I'm Rick Pivovar. I'm the district manager for the Postal Service for this part of the country. And it's an honor to be here in front of you today representing the US Postal Service. It's an honor to be in front of all the APS members that are in the audience. Just a little bit about our district. Our district here is called the Central Plains District. We're responsible for postal operations throughout all of Nebraska, most of Kansas, part of Iowa. I'm honored to lead 8,600 postal employees to provide postal operations service to all of our customers. We cover about 150,000 square miles and 1,100 post offices. It's my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Bill Gicker. And Bill is our acting manager of stamp services for the Postal Service. And Bill most recently was involved in the Alabama statehood stamp. And if you've seen our group of 4 frog stamps, Bill was involved with that here just recently. So I'm going to turn it over to Bill. And again, thanks to all of you for coming and many of our VIPs that you'll hear about here in just a minute. So thank you and welcome to Omaha.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the American Philatelic Society's Stamp Show here in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm Bill Gicker. I'm the Acting Director of Stamp Services for the United States Postal Service. Thank you for joining us today for the dedication of our commemorative forever stamps honoring working military dogs. Brave and loyal military working dogs are essential members of the armed forces. These courageous canines have aided U.S. soldiers in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Today's ceremony and these stamps should serve as reminders of the contributions and sacrifices of these canine heroes. At this time, I'd like to introduce Master Sergeant Amber Grimes, who will be performing the national anthem. Please rise. Please rise. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated, everyone. I'd like to have another round of applause for Master Sergeant Grimes. Before we get started, I would like to remind everyone to silence your phones and other mobile devices. We do encourage you to use your devices to share the ceremony, on social media and use the hashtag #MilitaryDogsStamp, all one word. To promote the stamps and the event, today's ceremony will be streamed on Facebook Live. To kick things off, I am pleased to introduce Scott English, the Executive Director of the American Philatelic Society. Scott has been the APS Executive Director since August 2015. In this position, he manages a team dedicated to serving stamp collectors around the world. As head of the organization, Scott has overseen the construction of a new library located at the American Philatelic Center in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, which opened in 2016. In June of 2016, Scott led the efforts to recover position 76 of the McCoy block of the inverted Jenny at the World Stamp Show in New York. In 2017, he completed the $150,000 fundraising campaign to help APS increase its profile, recruitment, and services through technology. Scott currently lives in Bellefonte with his wife Kendra and is the proud father of 3 grown children, Seth, Colin, and Tess. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott English.
Wow, that sounds really impressive. Thank you. I don't know if I could get my wife to say those things about me, but good morning, everyone. No. We're at a stamp show. We got to show the energy. Good morning, everyone. Now that's what I'm talking about. We got to show the world the stamp collectors got a lot of energy. It's an interesting event, and I think it's really an interesting opportunity first to ask, are there any veterans out there in the audience? If you're able to stand, could you please stand just for a second? Thank you very much. And, we are proud to honor veterans at the headquarters of the APS. We have the Gung Ho Room, which is dedicated to men and women who served in all branches of the military, and we're proud to do that. And I'm proud because we get to, aside from honoring our 2-legged veterans, we get to honor some 4-legged veterans today, and I really do appreciate that opportunity. We haven't been here since 1936. Was anybody here at that show? You're sure somebody was going to be here from that. But we're really proud to be back in Omaha again, and the city has really opened their arms and welcomed us. And as always, our partnership with the USPS is phenomenal, and I think this is no exception. And looking at the audience out there, I can tell there's a lot of energy and excitement for the stamp we're issuing today. But I want to make sure that you stop by the post office. Please thank the men and women who work really hard for the USPS every day and serve our needs, both as citizens and as stamp collectors, and make sure you spend a little bit of money with them. And then, by all means, please stop by and see every dealer on the show floor. Leave $5, $10, $15 and take a couple of stamps with you while you're at it. This is a fun weekend, and I'm really glad to have you all here. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Scott and the American Philatelic Society for having us here today for our event. Next up, we have David C. Williams, Vice Chairman of the USPS Board of Governors. He has the honor of dedicating today's stamp. Governor Williams was appointed to the board in August 2018 and elected Vice Chairman the following month. Since March of 2016, he has been a distinguished visiting professor at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. In a public service career spanning decades, Governor Williams has served as Inspector General for 5 different federal agencies: the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission from 1989 to 1996, the Social Security Administration from 1996 through 1998, the Department of Treasury in 1998, the Department of Housing and Urban Development in 2001, and the United States Postal Service from 2003 to 2016. Governor Williams is a U.S. Army veteran and began his civilian federal career as a special agent with the Secret Service. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor David Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending. I love all the standing room only audience that we have here, and thank you very much for joining us as well. It's a pleasure for me to be in Omaha at the American Philatelic Society Stamp Show. So glad I got that out. They were mispronouncing it in the green room till I was ready to strangle. So I thought for sure I would get that wrong. And I want to thank the Society Director, Scott English, for his greeting and for allowing us to be here. I wanted to recognize the wonderful military working dog over there in the corner. He has a very odd ear. I think he's in costume as Yasser Arafat. Be sure and pay attention to him when you see him today. He's a beautiful, beautiful dog. It's my honor to dedicate the Military Working Dogs Forever stamp here at your wonderful event. The newest stamp of the United States Postal Service. As a military veteran and a former law enforcement officer, I have the greatest appreciation for service dogs and their vital, life-saving mission. I have very, very strong and emotional memories that come to mind as I think about the experience that I've had with the dogs. And those memories are as strong or stronger than they were with the people that I served with. In Vietnam, we shared a compound with Long-Range Reconnaissance Patrol with the American Infantry Division. And I love being with them, but I have to admit I went over there to be with the dogs. I want to do a quick little informal shout out to the camp dogs too. I have no idea where they came from into our camp, but they brought a lot of joy to our lives. They gave us unconditional affection toward us. We stayed with them, slept with them, had a good time with them. In the Secret Service, the bomb dogs and the weapon dogs were essential. They came in with the advance team, and they were essential to the event. They were and still are superior to just about any technology you have. At 9/11, I lost a couple of officers in the complex, and I have very strong memories of the huge Labradors and other kinds of dogs that were crawling through the fog and mist of the debris. Fires were still burning everywhere, and they were searching. After 9/11, I went over to TSA. He didn't read all the places I worked. You'd realize I'm 141 years old, Ted. But there we had, during the stand-up, we came to recognize and deploy working dogs there for bombs and detections at the airports and then at federal agencies. So let me give you a bit of a background on this for those of you that don't know it. At Joint Base San Antonio in Lackland, Texas, young military recruits undergo training designed to shape them into America's fighting forces. During the months of rigorous training, some of the troops wash out, and some of them go on to be deployed around the world, saving lives and ensuring security. If you haven't already guessed, I'm talking about the puppies that are part of our ongoing program for military working dogs. The Air Force's 331st Training Squadron in Texas is responsible for the training of the handlers, and beginning with the puppies till they're old enough to be deployed. The dogs are trained in patrol, at perimeter security, drug and explosive detection, and other specialized functions at the magnificent whelping facility that's there for the deployment of these wonderful dogs. There are 4 primary breeds: the German Shepherds, Labrador Retrievers, the Belgian Malinois — they were also mispronouncing that in the green room — and the Dutch Shepherds. I can't believe I got all that out so far. The Dutch and German Shepherds are tall and strong and athletic, and they're very trainable. Muscular, but small and faster are the Belgian Malinois. And the Labradors are less aggressive, as you probably know, but they have wonderful senses of smell, and they're essential to the program. And working dogs date all the way back to the beginning of the country. The first one to recognize that they would be great is Benjamin Franklin, who everybody in this room knows was the first Postmaster General for the Postal Service. He recognized that dogs could easily be used shoulder to shoulder with soldiers as they were attacking to confound the enemy. They were wonderful service service animals for messengers as well. In World War I, Sergeant Stubby served with the 101st Infantry Regiment in the trenches of France. He was a Boston Terrier mix, and Stubby participated in 4 offenses with the troops, and 17 battles. He was wounded twice in combat, and he single-handedly identified and captured a German spy who was inside behind the lines. He returned home a hero. In 1926, he passed away. There was a 15-paragraph obituary in the New York Times, which is greater than any of us hope and greater than most presidents, so obviously they admired him very much. The program disappeared after the First War. That was before we learned to count the wars. But after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the program was brought back. But it was brought back by a civilian dog breeder group who encouraged the military and fought for the program and provided canine donations. They were used in patrolling the coasts of the United States. But as we went overseas on the offensive, they again were there shoulder to shoulder as scouts and messengers. Working dogs oftentimes served with great distinction. In the European theater, there was a German Shepherd mix that named Chips. He assaulted a machine gun position, and he was such a terrifying presence that it caused the surrender of 4 enemy soldiers and saved countless lives. For his bravery, he was awarded both the Silver Star and the Purple Heart. He was hurt during the mission. After the war, the working dogs continued to support the American military, and today it's a very active program. We have 2,000 dogs used in the armed services. One of them was a Belgian Malinois named Cairo, who accompanied Navy SEAL Team 6 in the mission against Osama bin Laden. He was guarding the perimeter as the soldiers went in and were able to kill Osama bin Laden. Cairo provided perimeter security during that mission. Another dog, Mako, gave his life in 2018 on a mission. He was assigned with the Army's 75th Ranger Unit that I'm sure you've heard about. He was killed in a raid on an al-Qaeda position. The official record of the event reads that Mako was killed in action while leading Rangers into a breach of a targeted compound. Mako's presence and actions inside the building caused the enemy to engage him and gave away their position, and resulted in the assault force eliminating the threat. I think we know what that means. The actions of Mako directly saved the life of his handler and other Rangers. The military regularly uses dogs to sweep mailrooms and other facilities for drugs and explosives. Working dogs like Cairo and Mako didn't sign up as they did in World War II. They were born into the program. And they work alongside. As puppies, they meet their handler. Soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and Coast Guard, women and men, serve as the handlers and train with the programs. When these 4-legged warriors reach retirement age, they're usually adopted by their handler. But if that's not possible, civilians line up to adopt these great dogs. Across the country, there are memorials dedicated to animals, as they should be. They recognize the bravery and loyalty and service of all of the military working dogs, past and present, and their contribution is never going to be forgotten, I guarantee you. Today we celebrate the bravery of these dogs with a book of stamps of 20. The stamps feature a German Shepherd, a Labrador Retriever, Belgian Malinois, and a Dutch Shepherd. The background of each stamp contains a white star, and the stylized illustrations are in red, white, blue, and gold, representing the American flag and patriotism. The art was created by DKNG Studios of Los Angeles and by its art director, Greg Breeding. It's a forever stamp, so it will maintain the value of one of our first-class stamps forever. At this time, I'd like to invite the other program participants to join me on the stage for the unveiling of the stamp. Thanks, everyone. Thank you again for coming. So, Congressman, thank you so much for being with us. It's a great honor having you with us. So we will, yes. So, yeah, we're going to pause for a moment, and I think I'm going to ask our program continue for a moment after the photograph, and she'll direct you to the end of the event.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor Williams, for those remarks and for helping us launch these amazing stamps. I'm very pleased now to introduce our next speaker, who may be quite familiar to any Nebraska natives in the audience, U.S. Representative Don J. Bacon. Congressman Bacon was elected to Congress in 2006